always been fascinated when scenes are dropped from stories or from movies. Your first film, Swing Shift, how much of your role was cut from that movie, and how did you take all that?
You know, I took it as a blessing that I got the part. You know, I met Jonathan Demme. I got to work with him. I thought it was a wonderful script, so I took it as nothing but a plus. And yeah, I mean, a lot of my stuff ended up on the cutting room floor, and it didn't really affect me that much because I'd never done a movie before. So it was all new to me, and life goes on.
You know, one of my favorite films that you've done was Once Around with Richard Dreyfuss, especially the scene where he tells you that he loves you out on that little perch there. I'm just wondering, how good have you become at predicting which of your films are going to be big box office hits and which ones are not quite as big?
Horrible. Really bad at it. I mean, Once Around came out, that film was released on the day that the Persian Gulf War was declared. That movie it bombed. Not to pun, but it bombed. The Piano, I thought 12 people would see it and love it. So I have not a good sense for that.
You know, I've always been fascinated with the humorous aspects of the Academy Awards. When you're nominated, picking an outfit, do you find you have designers coming out of the woodwork calling you up?
Oh yeah, that's a whole arena that flourishes. But I think it's so much fun. I think it's completely fun to think of what you might want to wear, how you see yourself, you know, what other designers come up with. I think that's really fun. I think the Academy Awards are a great party.
What do you remember of the limousine ride, and was it a little bit surreal driving to the Oscars?
Well, I've been 3 times, and all 3 were completely different. The first time was for broadcast news, and the limousine overheated and broke down, and we were 45 minutes late. That was not fun. The second time was for the Piano, and everybody was there for the movie from New Zealand and Australia, so it was a great reunion. And it was a real feeling of being part of a family. And so that was great. And the ride back from the Academy Awards that night was great too. And this last year was to present. And that was lovely because the pressure was off, and I had a great time.
Well, turning to this movie, working with real-life policemen doing research, in Los Angeles, are the cops more blasé about meeting actors than in other places, you think?
I've never met cops in other places and worked with them, so I don't know. But these guys were just great. They were very open. They wanted me to ride in the car with them. I was able to go to court and observe a couple of trials. I went to the prison. I hung out in the station. It was completely, I had total access, as far as I know.
Now, how often did people recognize you when you were out there on crime scenes?
Other cops would recognize me. And as far as I know, none of the suspects did. And I was glad for that.
You know, in this movie, there are a lot of brutal murder scenes, and I know it's a touchy thing for the actors who play those roles in the movie. When you're on a set working around those kind of situations, do you kind of feel sorry for the actors who are playing those roles?
Well, of course, because they have to stay in that same position for like hours, and the hot lights are melting the makeup, and you know, I do. I feel kind of sorry for them. I'm asking them, do they want a coffee, or is their arm going numb yet? So I have a great amount of compassion for those people.
And one final question, the various roles that you're recognized for, broadcast news, to this day, do you still have people who are TV reporters, producers coming up to you and commenting about that film?
Oh yeah.
And what do they usually say?
Well, they have all kinds of things, but probably the most common response to broadcast news was producers telling me that I reminded them of them.